Hello, and welcome to another episode of SkyrimPlus. Today I'm featuring Tel Feykro by Sakura. Let's check out the map. Here we are at Tel Feykro. We're near Falkreath and Lake Ilinalta. Here's Ilinalta's Deep, the Lady's Stone, Half Moon Mill, and here we are again at our featured home, Tel Feykro. While walking on the road that comes from Lakeview Manor towards Half Moon Mill, you'll notice a new road that you can take. It's up a hill, but you have a fenced-off path with pretty flowers and dark elf lanterns that leads you to the entrance of your new property. And I love the look of this. It reminds me of the entrance to Cursed Objects' home Fungalheim, or the entrance to Sindora's Hidden Hearth. And when you enter, you have a great view of Lake Ilinalta and the mountains, which is a hard view to beat. You have lots of this beautiful bunting and dark elf lanterns. You have a variety of flowers and ingredients, and an apiary. And then up these stairs, you'll find your own garden with fertile soils that you can plant up. There's also a tub so you can literally soak in one of the best looking locations in the game. And these roses are ones that I've planted from the mod Roses of Remembrance, in case you're curious. As we pass the entrance again, we'll head to the other side, where we find a stable for our horse. They have some good coverage in here for bad weather, and I like how the mod author used lavender to hang from the top. It gives the stable a pop of color. And then as we come back out, we find a rope ladder that takes us to the top of a tower. To the right, we have a spot to observe some more amazing views of the lake and mountains. You can see our boat dock, as well as the nearby animal life. And as we circle back, we find even more fertile soils to plant up. Each of these buckets you're seeing contain fertile soils too, if that gives you some sort of an idea. So this home gives you a copious amount to work with. And as we look up towards the roof, we have an oil lantern like the ones in the Nordic ruins to provide some light for night. And then you can activate this side to head back down to the ground level. Now that we've seen the tower, we'll see what else there is to discover on the ground level, like this chicken coop. You have a couple of chickens. You've got some harvestable eggs in their nests, and then in their water container, you'll find the key to the home. You can see its reflection on the right side of the container. Hopefully you pay attention to this part of the video, so you don't get here and then get confused on how to get inside. There are a lot of butterflies flying around, so alchemists and nature enthusiasts will love that. And then the next area we'll check out is our boat dock. This would pair well with a Fish Anywhere mod. You can also see the sunken ship, the Silver Moon, at the bottom of the lake, and the Lady's Stone, which was on that nearby island. One of my first videos featured a mod where you could battle a wizard for his armor and weapon on that island, so I'll pin that video in case you're curious. And here's a view of the outside of the home. It looks super unique. There's a smithing area underneath that large mushroom, and you have a mannequin and some more flowers to the right. And here's one more look at the outside of the home, which may look a little different for you depending on what Solstheim mods you use. I'm using Rally Solstheim if you want to match this look. As we head underneath the large mushroom, we find some dark elf chairs to sit by the fire and enjoy the view of the lake. And then we find our grindstone, our workbench, which looks like it's part of this merchant stall. That's cool. Here's our anvil. That flame is a mini smelter. There's smithing storage beside that. And then here's our tanning rack as well, so you get a full suite. And now that we've seen underneath our mushroom, we'll come back to the front to check out our Hobbit doors, so Lord of the Rings fans will appreciate those, as well as the Wisp Lantern. And now we'll head inside. And here we are inside of our new home. To the right, we have a bench and a hanging tapestry. And then as we enter the living room, we find a cozy fireplace with a mounted saber cat head and a cooking pot. And then straight back, we find a dining space with chairs for 4, little meals set on the table, some harvestable ingredients, clicky cabinets, and if you activate the corner, it opens up a menu for cooking and cooking storage, and it shows some unique items you can craft, which to be honest, I'm not sure if this is part of this mod or not. But if you can craft this scroll that lets you reset all of your perk points to spend on whatever tree you want, that would be pretty cool. And even if you can't, you can still cook a variety of things here. Of course, this mod requires general stores, so I know that'll turn some of you off, but if you like this home as much as I do, you might just have to find a way to get over that. Here's our living room again, and as we turn, we find a couple of chairs to sit and relax by the fire. And I like this fishnet wall to give you a little privacy, but keep the space open. And I think the wood elves will appreciate this mounted quiver. And then we find an office space with cool decoration, like a map of Skyrim, an Ethereum shard, and an oil lantern, as well as a safe and strong box to store your valuables. And here's one last view of that fireplace. And now we'll make our way to the next hall, and as we do, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Our community just hit 7,000 subscribers, so thanks for the support. As we pass our Hobbit door, we find a library with my favorite design element, a fresco. Whenever I see one in a home, it automatically raises the value to me. And this space also has a custom Shrine of the Lady, whose blessing makes potions you mix 100% stronger for 7 hours. You can also enchant items that are 100% stronger for 7 hours, and you can breathe underwater for 24 hours, so that's a pretty useful blessing. This next hallway leads to your master bedroom, guest beds, and children's room. But first, we're going to head down these stairs and check out our crafting room. First, we notice more of that fantastic ivy to liven up the space, and then we find our custom arcane enchanter with a magical effect, a custom card table style alchemy lab, and a custom staff enchanter with another cool magical effect. Underneath there's storage for your potions, and then we find 4 fertile soils where I planted some Gleamblossoms and death bells, and then we find some more clicky cabinets with storage for alchemy ingredients. I should also mention that I'm using a mod that adds EMB effects to the Gleamblossoms, so you may want to add that to get the same magical lighting effect. There are 4 more fertile soils on the other side, and more clicky cabinets, and the mod author said that they intended to leave some clutter blank for those that use Jackson's positioner to be able to decorate and add items that they want themselves. And as we come up these stairs again, we can see through the fishnet into our living room. And when we take a left, you can see the guest beds with the dark elf flags at the end of the hall. But we're not going to check that out yet. We're going to go see our master bedroom first. Just activate this ladder and you'll find your way into the master bedroom. This bed is being modified by Redoran Reverie, a Solstheim bed mod, which makes dark elf beds larger and more unique. As you can see, we have a little clipping with a lantern, but nothing major enough to dissuade me from using this mod. And then in the corner, we have our master sorting chest for general stores. When you activate the master chest, a menu appears with options to unburden, auto sort, to manually inspect, to stash cash, or to exit. And just to the left of the master sorting chest, we have a dresser for our armor with options to auto sort all armor, heavy, light, unarmed, shields, unclassified, and to exit. And that about does it for the master bedroom, so now we'll head back down the hatch and see what the rest of the home has to offer. And now we're back in our main hallway. Here's a closer look at our follower beds. I like that they have little candles for some night lighting. Just past the ladder, you'll find a weapons rack with options to sort all weapons, one-handed, two-handed, archery, staves, unclassified, and exit. And then right next to that, you have another armory closet, except this one shows the inside. And it still has all of the same classifications as the one in the bedroom, so I won't waste too much time showing you that again. Now we'll head down these stairs to the right and head towards our children's room. One small detail they included are these festive flags above the children's room doors. I know it's a small detail, but those make all the difference. And then underneath the stairs you have more clicky cabinets, as well as a training dummy. But you may want to watch those sword swings, because if you chop down those stairs, getting back up might be hard. As we enter the children's room, we find a rocking horse, a wardrobe for their clothes, a desk where they can work to become the next prodigy, and there are 2 beds for your kids, and chests to store their things. And there's a shelf on the back wall with a teddy bear, and a really cool dragon toy. I want to play with that. But now that we've seen all of the features of this home, it's time for final thoughts. Tel Feykro is a whimsical, elven-themed home on the shores of Lake Ilinalta. It offers a double bed for you and your spouse, a couple of beds for followers, a couple of beds for kids. It offers a cooking pot, a stable for your horse, an apiary, a chicken coop with harvestable eggs, a garden with tons of fertile soils, a full smithing suite, a tower with more fertile soils, which also includes fantastic views of the area, a boat dock, a crafting room with a custom alchemy lab, arcane enchanter, and staff enchanter, and more fertile soils, and a custom shrine to the lady with a blessing that offers some useful perks. If you're looking for a new lakeside home, Tel Feykro would be a real good choice. This concludes my feature of Tel Feykro.
If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified of when I post. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode.